Hi, this is Neeraj Jaiswal and welcome to this episode. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to populate the images on the buttons. So right now when you run the app, the images are not getting populated on the items. These are just only the titles are getting populated. So my aim will be to populate the images on this button. Let's get started. So the first thing is basically to retrieve the image. So we'll close it here. We'll open the code here and while adding the buttons dynamically, let us pass the image URL as well. Next, here we need to call the function which will load the image. So right now we don't have the function, so let's go ahead and write the code for it. Now because this will be done from a URL, basically not locally, and it is on the internet, we'll not do it in the main thread, we'll call it through the coroutine. So I'll just create that function load image. I'll take basically an image as the container for that URL, which basically the image which I am downloading. This will be the second parameter will be the URL of the image, the width of the image, and the height of the image, which needs to be set. So next thing is I will be using yeah, now to load it using www and I'll return it here. Now if the page returns any error, then I'll not go ahead. So if the error is not equal to null, that means there is an error. So I'll just debug it. I'll just print the error for my reference, and in the else condition I'll do my stuffs which I required to retrieve the image. Basically I'll create an instance of the texture 2D, so because it will be a 2D image, and width, height, I'll set the filter mode to the point. It can be bilinear, point, and trilinear. I'll just choose point because this is a 2D image, and then I'll just load image. I'll get the bytes of it, and then I will add it to the image container which is being passed. I'll set the sprite of it. I'll create one new sprite using this 2D image. And I will set the rect image width and image height and I'll just set the pivot point in the middle. So in case if it throws an error, I'll just print the URL for it. That's it. This thing should load the image. I'll load it by calling it from here. I'll have to take the image URL. This looks okay to me here right now, and now I will pass this to the this function. So I will start this coroutine and the parameters which is requires is image. So this we can get it from the item dot get component basically image, the buttons image we are referring to here, and then the image URL we are passing it. Next it requires the width and the height, so we'll pass the prefab dot rect dot width and prefab dot rect dot height. So yeah, one more parenthesis is required. This should suffice now. Let us just build it once to check whether if there is any error. New is missing here, and yeah, this is basically text integer. That's why, yeah, we are passing it as float because we are receiving all these values are floats basically, but I have to cast it to integer here. We'll make sure that it is working perfectly now. Yeah, the build is successful. So let's go ahead to Unity and run it. This looks okay to me. We'll run it and see. So it's loading from the feed URL, and it should populate. It has populated the titles, and yes, we got the images. Great. So basically the images have started populating. So that's all in this episode. We'll see in the next episode. Keep rocking and happy coding.